Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, you guys already know by the title what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to be playing with some of the makeup I hauled in my Sephora Vib sale haul. You guys have requested to see these products in action, so I'm here to deliver. Of course, you guys know I do have the new Patrick Ta palette that you guys have been so excited to see. I have a ton of other products, and we also are going to revisit some products like the new one size blushes. In case you missed that video, I'm going to be using them again today in case you guys want to see them again. So I did go ahead and already put on my foundation off camera. I have my primer on and everything. I wanted a full coverage foundation, and during the sale I did not pick up a full coverage foundation, so I decided to just put on my one size, turn up the base. You guys know I am obsessed with this. This is literally one of my favorite foundations in my collection. I have not used the foundation as much as I have used this, and honestly, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. If you haven't tried it, definitely do. I highly recommend it. But we're gonna go ahead and start with the eyes. Since this is something that is highly requested on my channel, we're gonna start off with the Patrick Ta Rose Dimension 2 palette. It's such a long name. I do own the first palette. Now I do have some thoughts on the first palette. This first palette, it was not my favorite. I feel like I can only do so much with this palette. So I'm hoping that I like this new one a lot more than the first one, because the first one I just felt like I couldn't really use these shades. Like these two I couldn't really use. The textures in here were completely different. Some were super chunky. It just wasn't a go-to palette of mine that I just found that I wanted to use or that I remembered to use. So this is what this palette looks like. It is very different from the first one, but not too different. I feel like the biggest difference is that you guys can see that there is a really cute little outline on the packaging of this palette. I just feel like it just looks more luxe feeling. I feel like you can easily know which palette you're picking from whenever you like have them in a drawer. One thing I struggled with Patrick Ta's packaging is that for his blush palette and his OG eye palette, I would have it in the drawer like this, and I would not know which one I was choosing unless I was to look at the front and read for face or for eyes. But I love that this is distinct. I hope that he kind of keeps this kind of style going where there's like an outline of the color story around the packaging. Honestly, so pretty. I am so in love with the color story on this palette. I just knew I had to get it. Prime my lids with my Fenty eye primer. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive right into this palette. I kind of want to do a halo eye. I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but like that's where I'm leaning right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go into this shade right here. I'm gonna start to place this in my crease. This is kind of gonna be like my transition shade. I do like his eyeshadow formula. It's just I wasn't the biggest fan of the shades in there. I just felt like I couldn't get what I was looking for with that palette. I felt like I had to, you know, pull from a ton of different palettes to get the effect I was looking for. I also think a lot of these shades are gonna show up 1,000 times better on my skin tone than the first palette, just because of the tones that he chose for this palette. I'm very, like, see, this is pretty. This is a really pretty transition shade. I love how it looks. I'm gonna go ahead and go into this shade right here. Same brush, because I'm just basically gonna take this and kind of like soften up the edges of this look. I just want to make sure everything is diffused out before we get into the halo eye. It's gonna be a super easy look, so definitely know that it's gonna be super easy. But this pink is super pretty. I think it's a really pretty like transition cleanup kind of shade. If you guys are not familiar with Patrick Ta, he does have like, so far I'm seeing like a trend with him. He does have two cream shadows here. I think you can, they're like really versatile. You can use them as a base, as eyeliner, whatever you want to do. I am going to go ahead and use that today to get this halo eye started. So I'm going to take the darker cream shade. I'm just going to take this shade and I'm just going to place it here Honestly, this looks so different than in here. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be so much darker, but we're gonna see if this really helps the shadow to pop. So I'm just gonna place it here in the outer and then also in the inner, like that. It's a little messy, probably hard to tell on camera, but just bear with me. And then I'm gonna go into this dark shade right here in the palette. And I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna place it right on top of that cream shadow. And I'm not sure how deep this shade goes. I don't know if this halo eye is gonna work out how I envisioned, because I thought that base would be a lot deeper. And it does add a little bit of depth, but it's not like giving what I thought it was gonna give. Like, I'm not really getting much for a halo eye, to be honest. So yeah, not feeling that. So I'm just gonna take the rest of that base and just plop it all on the lid. Not what I was expecting to do, not what I wanted to do, but we're just gonna wing it. We're just gonna continue. So far it's pretty. It seems pretty smoky to me, but looks pretty smoky, but I'm not gonna, this is not what I wanted to do. Everything just looks pretty smoky for the most part. So I'm gonna take this shade right here, super buttery, really pretty. There's some really gorgeous shades in this palette. Like, this is pretty. I'm gonna take this one right here and just kind of like tap this all on the lid. Just like that. I have no idea what I'm doing with this eye look, but we're just playing around to see what I get from it. This shade though is super buttery, super creamy. It's like a metallic-y kind of shade where I literally can just tap it on. I don't have to kind of like swipe anything, but it's a really pretty shade, I will say. Just cleaning up the edges. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch some of these. Ooh, that one's really gorgeous. So these are some of the shimmers. That is gorgeous. These are really pretty. Wow, and there's some duochromes as well. These are gorgeous. Let's take the toppery kind of shade. Let's take this shade right here. And I'm gonna take some of that and I'm gonna tap that in the center of my lid just to see what it's gonna do. I might tap it on the whole lid. Like, why not? Why not? We're already here. Let's just tap it on the whole lid. I also really like this shimmery shade that I just put down. It's really pretty. It kind of serves as like a glitter, but it's not like super, super glittery, you know? Let's go ahead and move on to the face. Moving on to the face, like I said, I already have on my foundation. One concealer I did pick up. I picked up two concealers during the sale. I picked up the Kosas concealer and the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin concealer. Now, because I wanted to do like a full coverage kind of glam look today, this is the concealer I'm gonna go in with. I have used this once and I honestly loved this. So I wanted to use it again. I was like, I have to use this again. So I am gonna go ahead and take some of this. One thing about it is I felt like I don't need a lot of this concealer at all. It is thick, it's more on the thick side, but you don't need a lot. But I feel like it's such a beautiful concealer for those full coverage kind of makeup looks like I'm trying to do today. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this in. And you guys are gonna see how pretty this looks with this one size. It just looks so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's so pretty. So before I go ahead and set under my eyes, we're gonna go in with the new Patrick Star blushes. You guys, I love this. If you did not see my review on this, oh my gosh, run, do not walk to that review because it was just amazing. I love it. So this is the shade that I pulled to use today. I thought this shade would go great with this eye look and that palette. It's more rosy, you know, every single day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the cream first. This is super pigmented. Seriously, you do not need a lot, but you guys know me. I feel like I constantly tap in and don't think that it's enough, but really it is more than enough. And I'm just gonna take this and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this on the face. And you guys are gonna see how pigmented this blush is. Like, it is so beautiful. I cannot stress that enough. And it's also very buildable as well. This is probably one of my favorite items that I hauled during the sale. And I'm so happy that I got so many because this is just amazing. So I'm just blending this in. I just love it so much. It's so good. Oh, and it just melts into the skin. Look at that. It's like, it just melts, literally. I don't even have to set it with a powder, but we are gonna go ahead and come back to the powder blush. Then I'm gonna go ahead and set under my eyes. I did not get a new loose setting powder during the sale, but I did shop my stash. By the way, shop my stashes are coming back. I shopped my stash for a setting powder I haven't used in a minute, and I ended up pulling the Sephora loose setting powder. How fitting. I feel like this setting powder is so good. I love it. It's really, really good. You guys know I love my powder puffs, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set this. Now it only comes in one shade, which is translucent, but as you guys can see, I'm going to show you guys the difference with this setting powder, how you don't even like translucent looks really, really good. So this is the Sephora setting powder. This is one side with the setting powder and this is the side without. I think that looks so good. What do you guys think? I think that looks amazing. Looks amazing. I feel like this is a setting powder I also could pretty much set my whole face with and not have to worry about anything. Let's go ahead and move on to bronzer. I did get the Kosas Moisturizing Baked Bronzer during the sale. This was like one of the last items that I picked up, and I have been really excited to try this. I wanted to try it on camera, do my first impressions, so you guys could see what I'm seeing. So this is what it looks like. It does kind of have like a sheen to it. So we're gonna see how this looks. So I'm just gonna take it all on my face. I'm not a fan of shimmery bronzers. I just got this because I have really been into Kosas products. So I just thought this would be a really nice product to try out. I definitely do see the sheen. I don't know if I like the sheen to it because it kind of gives it like almost kind of like a metallic-y kind of finish. And I'm not sure if I like that. So let me know how that picks up on camera. I think I much prefer matte bronzers, and I kind of was a little bit like iffy about it because I know I prefer a matte bronzer, but I wanted to try it out, see how it looked on the skin. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm really feeling that. Let me go ahead and do my nose contour. So I am going to go in with the new One Size Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio. I'm going to go in with the dark trio. A lot of you guys have been asking me if I could choose just one trio. What trio would I choose regarding the bronzers? And out of the deep trio, this is what the deep trio looks like. And then the dark trio, I personally would go for the dark trio for myself, which is this one, just because I do have other contours in my collection, but this is perfect for nose contour, and these two are great for regular bronzers. This right here, I feel like I definitely could use this for bronzer, this for contour. This shade right here is definitely too deep for what I like to use as my contour. So I just feel like I probably get more use out of the dark trio. I'm gonna take this shade right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose. I'm just gonna go into the powder blush right under there. I love that all of the like matching corresponding blushes are right here in this palette for me. That is like why I love this so much. I don't have to find like a powder blush that kind of matches my cream blush. It's literally in this trio for me. So I love that. Go ahead and finish up the eyes. Eyeliner, I'm gonna go into the Made by Mitchell All Smudge No Budge eyeliner pencil. This is in the shade Tiger's Eye. It's like a dark brown. I don't want black. I just want something that's dark but not like too harsh. Now we can go into the palette. I'm gonna take this deep shade right here. I'm just gonna place this all on my waterline. Then I'm gonna go into this shade right here, and I'm just gonna use that to kind of blend out that first shade. Moving on to the lips, I picked up a new shade in the Makeup by Mario lip pencil. I picked up the shade Dark Chocolate, so that's the shade I'm going to use today. This is what the shade Dark Chocolate looks like. Honestly, love his lip pencils. They're literally my favorite. So the lip product I'm going in today is also from Makeup by Mario. These are his cozy lip creams. I have not put these down. And my favorite shade so far that I constantly pull from is called Brownish Pink. I just feel like this shade literally goes with every single thing. Literally everything. Like, you guys are gonna see. It's kind of like rosy, but it's so pretty. What I like to do when I'm basically done with my makeup is I like to go into my one size powder foundation, and I like to kind of just brighten up the under eye and kind of clean everything up a bit so that it's just seamless, that my blush blends seamlessly, everything just blends seamlessly together. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to go into the new Urban Decay Vitamin C Cactus Water Setting Spray. Very long name, but that's what we're going in with today. So here is the finished look. Everything turned out really, really nicely. I'm honestly super happy with how my look turned out. The eye look is not what I first envisioned, but I definitely do love the look. Really quickly, I just want to go through some of the products I used today, starting off with the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. I love this palette so much more than the first one. 1000% this one is where it's at. These are my tones, my colors. The look that I created today, I was surprised by it. This is not like what I wanted to create, but I love how it turned out. Like, I really do. I love that there's so many different textures in this palette. It's so fun to play with. When you have a palette of different textures, it's just so much fun to explore and play with. And I love that. These one size blushes and bronzers, oh, still so good. Still one of my favorite products that I hauled. I love it. You guys know I love blush so much. It just makes me so happy. And the fact that this literally has 3 different finishes of the same blush color is like a blush lover's dream. Literally, I'm always trying to find a cream blush that will match a powder blush. This, I don't even have to think about it. I just know it's here for me and I have it, you know? The bronzers are great. The only product that I tried today that I was a little bit kind of like not a big fan of is the Kosas bronzer. I've been loving Kosas. Like, I'm wearing their brow products today. I love the Kosa brow products. I love the Kosa concealer, but this bronzer just didn't do it for me. I'm not a fan of the bronzer. But if you love the bronzer, by all means. But for me, I'm not a fan of like that metallic-y finish. I like a matte bronzer and a matte bronzer only. Makeup Forever concealer, amazing, literally amazing. You guys see, like, everything just worked out really well today, seriously. And like, these Makeup by Mario lip products, y'all, obsessed with this. Like, when I tell you I have not been wearing a gloss, like, I have not worn a gloss since I got these, it's crazy. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.